Hi everyone, my name is Casey Gruttadauria. I work with a import company based out of Medford, Massachusetts called Ideal Wine and Spirits. I've been working there for about 7 years, and today I wanted to show you 5 wines I'm really excited about for the summertime. It's a little bit of a silly theme, but I thought I would do all 100% varietal wines just because I think varietal wines can be really fun to taste. They're a little easier to understand, and they're really tasty. So the first one I wanted to show you today is from a winery called Les Equilibristes, and they call this wine the second souffle. So the thing about Les Equilibristes, that means the tightrope walkers in French. And these guys are what's known as traveling winemakers. So they don't own any land, but they look all around France for kind of unique wines that are organically farmed and that use minimum sulfur. Those are kind of the edict of what they're trying to do. This wine in particular is a pretty forgotten varietal that grows in the Languedoc. It's called Carignan Blanc. That is not to say that this is a white wine made with the very common grape, Carignan. This is its own varietal, Carignan Blanc. I had never tasted one before I tried this one, and I just totally love this wine. It's nice and fleshy. It's got really nice melon fruit, and it's quite salty, which I really like for the summertime. You know, it makes it pair really well with most fish dishes and a lot of soft cheeses, salads. It's just a totally great wine. I love the philosophy of the company, kind of finding unique wines that are grown correctly and that are really tasty. So yeah, this is Les Equilibristes, Carignan Blanc, second souffle. The next wine is a bit of a classic. This is a Sancerre from the Henri Bourgeois company. It's a single vineyard called La Côte des Monts d'Année. And if you've never heard me talk about this wine before, La Côte des Monts d'Année translates to the Hill of the Damned. And the reason they call this wine by that name is because the place it's grown has an incredibly steep pitch. It's really, really hard to work. Farming it's a nightmare, but the reason they do it is because all of the vines get maximum sun exposure on that hillside. And unlike a lot of hillsides, the entire hill is all one kind of soil type. It's a soil type that's pretty famous to the Sancerre region, to the Loire Valley in France. It's called Kimmeridgian marls, which is old ocean bed. For those who don't know, Sancerre is always 100% Sauvignon Blanc by law. And many people think it's the best place in the world for Sauvignon Blanc. The climate really suits it, and in particular, the soil suits it. Kimmeridgian marls in particular, you know, if you put your hand in the dirt and you lift it up, you see old seashells, and there's a lot of salinity in the soil because it used to be the ocean, even though it's right in the middle of the country. So yeah, you get this really thirst-quenching kind of element with the Sauvignon Blanc, and then still an abundance of fruit. In particular, 2018 was very hot in France, so you get very ripe grapes. And when you have ripe grapes, you get very fruit-driven wines. So you get all the acidity and the minerality that you want from the Kimmeridgian marls here, and then you get really expressive Sauvignon Blanc flavor. It's an absolute favorite. It's perfect with shellfish. It's kind of a must-have for the summertime. Next, this is a little unexpected maybe. This is a winery from Tuscany called Morris Farms. It's an old family winery. They've been there since the 1500s, though the family name comes to Tuscany via Spain and originally from England hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So the family name is Morris. I know that doesn't sound Italian, but they're very Italian. They've been there a long time. And their rosé, the Rosamundi, this is made with 100% Sangiovese. And you know, Sangiovese is familiar to us, of course, if anybody's a Chianti fan, or most Tuscan red wines are Sangiovese based. I had never had a rosé that was 100% Sangiovese, and I was a little skeptical. I didn't think that grape could make cool rosés, and this wine proved me totally wrong. There's awesome strawberry fruit, really great minerality, great acidity, and I kind of this has kind of become my summer staple at home. It's the rosé I turn to the most often. I just totally love it. The family are great people. It's all sustainably farmed, and yeah, it's totally great wine. It's a great value. There's a lot to like here. Next, from California, we have Amplify Wines Tempranillo 2018. Amplify is a winery that is just a small husband and wife team. They don't grow the grapes themselves, but everything they make comes from organically farmed grapes. And their style of winemaking, we like to call it natural winemaking with intent. You know, some people just crush grapes in neutral barrels and let whatever happens, and you get these very funky, mousy wines that kind of suck. Pardon my language. These guys are not doing that. The way they make their wines, it is old neutral barrels, and it's really cleanly grown fruit, and they're very fruit-driven wines. Tempranillo in particular, I think is very well suited for California. If you think about the weather in California, it's not too different from the places in Spain where Tempranillo really thrives. So it kind of makes sense to have that kind of varietal growing here. It also speaks a little bit to the history of wine growing in California. Many of the original farmers who planted vines in California were Spanish. They kind of came over during the gold rush, and that's when you see a lot of these vines being planted. So Amplify, all organic, very, very minimum sulfite added in the bottling, just enough to keep the wines from getting all mousy. There's great fruit in these wines. They're easy to drink. And in the summertime, when I'm gravitating towards red wine, I don't want a ton of tannin. I don't want a lot of earthy flavors personally. When it's hot out, I just want something that has very pretty fruit. In this case, you get a lot of kind of black cherry and a little bit of black pepper spice. It's just easy to enjoy, easy to drink. We love the people who make it, and it's a really nice drink. Last, we're going to drink I'm going to tell you about the Givry Premier Cru Champnalot from Paris et Filles. So this is a 6th generation family making wine in Givry, which is in the Côte de Chalonnaise, which is about as far south in Burgundy as they grow Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is king, you know, and it's really hard to find Premier Cru Burgundy that tastes this good at this price. I kind of mentioned that 2018 was a really ripe vintage when we were talking about the Sancerre. Same story here in Givry. You get all of that pretty kind of explosive cherry fruit in this wine that you would want from a Burgundy. It doesn't have any of that kind of wild mushroom, earthy tone that you can get in different parts of Burgundy. For the most part, 2018, you won't see earthy wines like that because it was too hot. But these guys have made just these like really thirst-quenching, juicy, fruit-driven wines year after year. And 18 was kind of the perfect vintage for the style of wine they like to make. And we're just really excited that it comes in at such a friendly price because you can certainly spend a lot of money for Premier Cru Burgundies, and these guys have never raised the prices. Just an old man and his son, who's also kind of an old man at this point, father and son team. They do great work, and we're really lucky to work with them. And we love the wine. It's just like the fruit. Oh, the fruit's all there. It's great. So that's my presentation for you. 5 varietal wines for the summertime. I hope you enjoy.